Hey everybody, it's Becky and I'm back. I have missed you guys. I know I've been behind the camera for a couple videos, but this is the first one I've done in front of a camera in a long time. A lot's happened in the last couple months. We decided at the end of 4th grade to go ahead and pull our oldest daughter out and homeschool her, which we had already planned on it for 5th grade, but we went ahead and just made the decision early, and so we kind of finished up 4th grade. And then now we just started on Monday our first full year of homeschooling with a 5th grader and a preschooler. So you've probably seen some videos about that, but that's kind of what leads into this video. A lot of people in my daily life have asked me why we decided to homeschool, and I think they're expecting some kind of big, huge, monumental thing that happened, like she was getting bullied or whatever, and that really wasn't the case. As far as I know, she'd never really been bullied. It's just been kind of a snowball effect. It really started in kindergarten. I was pregnant with our youngest child when my oldest was in kindergarten, and that was the year that the swine flu came out. And I remember walking through the halls, walking her to class one day, and like the teachers were wearing masks, and it was so terrifying because she'd never been to preschool or daycare or anywhere. She's always been at home with me. All of a sudden I take her to kindergarten and the teachers are wearing medical masks, and there was this big horrible flu, and I was pregnant. It was just a big mess, and that was the first time it really ever occurred to me. Prior to that, I would have always said I would never homeschool my kids, that I wasn't smart enough or I didn't have enough time, all those excuses that we make. And this video is in no way saying that people that don't homeschool are bad parents or that they shouldn't send their kids to public school. It's definitely a personal decision, and it's one that obviously has taken me 4.5 years of school to finally make. But just like society, there's little things that just creep in that I find inappropriate and immoral that could creep into the school system. It just got to be bigger and bigger problems. And some of those things were other than the fact of the kids they're exposed to, the other things they're exposed to, which again, I realize that this is life and they are going to be exposed to things like that. But that doesn't make me happy about it, and that doesn't mean I'm going to be like, oh well, they're going to hear it anyway. They might as well hear it at school. That's not how I feel about it, although I know a lot of people do. But my husband and I don't feel that way. We feel like that we would try to limit as much as we can the exposure they have to those things that we don't think are appropriate or that are moral. We don't curse in our family. We certainly don't curse at home. The kids we're very careful about what they watch. If we go to a movie, we always check the website plugged in online, because it'll tell you if there's anything that's a curse word or some kind of an inappropriate scene. It'll tell you exactly why a movie is rated what it's rated. So we're very careful about that, and they're still going to hear things, and that is part of life, and part of being a Christian is knowing that those things exist, but still sticking true to your faith, and I understand all that, but it doesn't mean that I think that I want them to hear it in school, and I certainly didn't want them to hear it from even curriculum they were supposed to do. She was in 4th grade, and they were already reading a book that had curse words in it. When I confronted the teacher about it, and I was asking her why were they reading that book, and she said, well, it's showing the character in the book and how they have bad character, develop. It was the character's development and how he was a bad person and all that. Well, that's wonderful. I understand that, different types of characters and different, plot lines are important to a good novel, but I just don't think it's necessary, especially in 4th grade. If she was in upper middle school, high school, I still wouldn't appreciate it, but it would make a little bit more sense than in 4th grade. So it's just little things like that kept happening. And then the final thing that really made me mad, and it was just, I had had enough, was at the dance they have every winter. And it's a Candyland dance, so it doesn't get much more innocent sounding than that. There's a little path, and you follow the candy and the gumdrops and all that, just like the game. And then at the end, they have music, live music in the gym. They had a DJ. And these songs would come on, popular songs, and I would hear them and I'd think, okay, this is going to be censored, because I knew there was bad words that were coming, that I had, I've heard those songs before. And the first word slipped by uncensored, and I was like, okay, that's crazy. Why is that word in there? And then it happened again, and it happened again. And it wasn't always curse words. Sometimes it was just inappropriate sayings, the really sexual connotation to them. And I'm just looking around, looking to see if any of the parents, any of the teachers, is anybody going to say anything? And finally, nobody said anything, so I just took my kids and we walked out, emailed the principal and the superintendent. Of course, I got the same canned response about how we're looking into it, and the principal said that, the songs were approved by the PTA, and I was like, okay, is the PTA crazy? Did they know that he was going to play these unedited versions? I mean, I just didn't understand at all and did not get a satisfactory answer from administration. So that was really the final straw that broke the camel's back. That, of course, combined with the safety issues in schools these days. I mean, can I live in a bubble and can I make my kids live in a bubble? No. But do I feel like the public school system is taking the necessary precautions to keep our kids safe? No, I don't. They would always say, well, they have to get buzzed in to get into the school. They have to push the buzzer. Well, yeah, one person would push the buzzer, the door opens, 3 people walk in. I mean, they need metal detectors, I feel like. They didn't have a full-time police officer. We had one police officer that would float around several of the area elementary schools, and it wasn't enough to satisfy me. And I'm not one of those people that's digging a bunker in my backyard and I'm preparing myself for some kind of horrible, outbreak of crime, but things are happening more and more these days that really scared me, and there's no reason why I shouldn't try to homeschool. I am a smart person. I'm educated. My husband's smart, and he's very well educated. I was a stay-at-home mom anyway, and I have been for over 10 years. I was here. We did look into private school options, and that's still an option down the road if we find that homeschool's not working for her or me or whichever. I mean, that's fine, but private school is very expensive, and it wasn't something that I was wanting to budget in right now. We're trying to save for a bigger house and all that, and it didn't make sense to me to just start out in private school, Christian private school, when I know that I'm at home and I'm capable of doing this. And it is hard and very time consuming and scary because you think, okay, my children's education and essentially their future is in my hands, what I teach them. But that's also a good thing because I can monitor what they learn. I can monitor what they see. I can pick and choose what I want them to learn, what I don't want them to learn. I can go and pick the approach that I want them to have, especially for science. In schools they don't teach a biblical creation, and that's something that I wanted to teach to my children. And even though they know it and when they hear it at home and they know that's the way that things happened, you go to school and you hear over and over and over, well, God didn't create the world, science did, and a big bang did, or whatever. It still puts that little thing in their mind that it's not necessary. So we're really excited. We've had a really good time. This was our first full week. We started on Monday, even though public school started on Wednesday. And I feel a lot more organized because, like I said, we did pull her out early for fourth grade. And I wasn't 100% prepared because I didn't think I was going to be homeschooling until this year. So I feel like now all the curriculum is in line. I have a schedule now that we're doing teaching my 5th grader and my preschooler, because last time we weren't. It was just my 5th grader. And my preschooler was like, what am I going to do all day? So they have, if you saw my office tour, that we've added their homeschool desks. They both have their own desk now, which I think gives them a nice place to focus and really feel like they're in school. And they like to have their own drawers and their own supplies. So it's been really good. It's been exciting. There was something else I was going to say. Oh, I've noticed just in the past 10 weeks that we taught in 4th grade of homeschool, my girls have gotten so much closer. There's a 6-year age gap between the two of them, and at times it seemed like 60 years. I mean, they're just developmentally on different stages, and I mean, they both like My Little Pony, but that's about it. And they've gotten so much closer. I mean, it's amazing what has happened in our family dynamic just since we've started to homeschool. So that in itself has been a blessing. And I'm not saying that we wouldn't ever put her back in public school. The thought has, been brought up, especially when she's a senior. If you, at least in our state, if you homeschool, the whole homeschool life, but then or the whole school career, but then at the very last minute you want to get your diploma, then you can enroll in a public school, and as long as you maintain a C average, then you can go ahead and get a diploma from the school and not have to worry about getting a GED or going to an e-school in order to get a diploma. So that was something that we thought about. But that's obviously a long time from now. I'm hoping some of the laws change in the state, that maybe there'll be more options or more e-schools to choose from that she can take in high school. But that's something we'll cross down the road, and we also will consider private Christian school if we have to. But so far, she's done really well. I don't feel like she's lost any of her educational value and content. I feel like we're on par with where we would be at school, and we actually go through a lot more material faster because it's just me and her, and it's not her and 30 kids trying to learn the same thing, and having behavioral disturbances and bathroom breaks and just all that stuff that goes on in public school. When we do our 5 hours a day, it is actually 5 hours a day, and it's not nonsense that's here and there intertwined with the day. So I hope that clears that up. And like I said, that this just because we homeschool and just because this is how I feel does not mean that I think people are bad parents that don't homeschool, or that they can't homeschool because both parents work, or whatever the situation is. It is a personal thing, and so far this is working for us, and that's the answer that I give people when they ask me. It's a very long answer, but I feel like it's more than just one thing that said, that made us decide to homeschool. It's been several things that have just snowballed into that decision, and I do feel like it's the right decision for us. So let me know if you have any questions. I'm going to try to figure out a schedule of when I can film regularly. I never can say that. Because before I would do little quick videos in my car with my cell phone when I was waiting for her to get out of school. But now that we don't do that, it's a little harder to find time to film, especially during the day. Like right now, it's nighttime, so the lighting's kind of strange. And I have an overhead light, so I have a halo. But other than that, I'm trying to figure out when I can film at least once a week to try to get a video for you guys. Some of them will be about homeschool, organic foods, things like that, living naturally, and home decor and organization and pretty much everything. And then homeschool is just thrown into the mix. So let me know if this video was helpful to you, like it, and please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.